Well, hello everyone, Texie88 here and welcome to another video. And after umming and ahhing about it during the premiere of my recent video about Metal Gear Solid, the board game, I decided to do a video in which I play through the very first mission of the Shadow Moses campaign, which is the main multi-scenario campaign in the board game. If you remember me mentioning that in my previous video about the game. So this is all set up for the very first mission of that Shadow Moses campaign. This is this one and the one that would immediately follow it for one player only, and that one player has to be Solid Snake. It specifically says so in the scenario brief, and what I'm trying to do is interact with the lift when my alert token is not on the map. And the only way I can fail is if either Snake is killed, or that we end up drawing the guard order card that has game over on it. So as per the instructions mentioned first for this particular stage, there are 10 blue guard order cards and all 7 of the red ones. And as anyone who's seen my video about the board game will know, that one of the 7 red ones, it's the dreaded game over card. If you reveal that, forced to reveal that for any reason, it's game over and you failed that particular scenario. And the way that Snake dies is if he takes 4 or more hit points, because it says right here that his health is 4. In fact, all of the characters in this game that players can control have a health score of 4. And I've got everything ready. This is Snake's dashboard. He doesn't start with any equipment whatsoever for the mission. And this is his attention token, and he's got his here. Those are Snake's 4 action tokens, which he'll play on different actions on his board accordingly. So before I can actually get to the lift, I've got to call it down, and I do that by reaching the point marked A. A doesn't always represent that but it does in this particular mission. And as you can see, there are some things that have a red border around them. Anything with a red border around it blocks line of sight. And these black walls here also block line of sight. So I guess we're pretty much sort of good to go. So I just got to decide what I'm going to do. Bear in mind, as in the 1998 video game upon which this is based, I'm trying to get seen and heard as little as possible. And you may remember I mentioned that there are focus tokens in the board game. In this particular one, the focus tokens are not used, so you won't worry about those. So movement wise, I can do sneak, which allows me to move 1 space, or dash, which allows me to move 2 spaces. Both of those actions require 1 action token in order to do them. However, dash is one of a small number of things that a player can do that's noisy, and there's a risk of being heard by the nearest guard if things go wrong. And you don't have to use all 4 of your action tokens, but you just can't use more than 4 of them. So I'm going to try dash, which allows me to move 2, another dash. You can't move diagonally in this game, only orthogonally. And sneak. So because I did 2 dashes, which have this noise symbol by it, at the end of my turn I have to do a noise check. If there are A, guards in my area, which there are, and B, if I did at least 1 noisy action. So I'm rolling 2 of these white dice as per the instruction for noise check. 2 white dice because I did 2 dashes, which are therefore 2 noisy actions. So I didn't roll any exclamation marks, so I was not heard. But I've had all 4 of my actions, so my turn is over. So I turn over the uppermost guard order card. This bit doesn't apply because I'm not within 2 uninterrupted squares of a guard. I'm 3 away, so I'm just out of range, so that bit doesn't apply. This bit doesn't apply because there are no security cameras in this particular stage. And my alert token is not underneath me, nor is it on the map, so that bit is ignored. So I just do, and none of the guards on this are in line of sight of either a dead body or a knocked out guard, so they're just on regular patrols. So they move 3 and prioritise turning left whenever they've got a choice. And this tells me, as I mentioned in my main video, this little token here, which is called the guard priority token, tells you which orders are going from the top left. I zigzag down, so this is the first one to move, so you'll be moving 3. 1 turns that way because there's no other option. 2, 3 stays facing that way. This is the next one to move, as that's the next one along in this zigzagging. 1, 2, 3, and last but not least, this guard. 1, 2, 3. That was a very simple one, and this was the only one that ended up turning any corners. So now that the guards have all had their turn, it's back to me again. And that also means there's 1 less guard order card in this, which this guard order card pile, as I said, acts as a bit of a time limit. Every single round brings me 1 round closer to that dreaded game over card, so I mustn't dawdle. I'm going to play it safe and just do 4 sneaks. 1, 2, 3, 4. Remember, sneaks only allowed me to... Actually, 1, 2, 3, 4. No, I'm going to, just for the base of this, so I can show you something different, I'm going to do 1 dash, sneak, which puts me directly behind that guard. And one thing that Snake can do that none of the other characters can do is use 2 action tokens to do a silent takedown. If your figure is behind an adjacent guard, replace the guard with a skull token. So because of the guard has back to me, I replace him with a skull token. That guard is now dead. However, because I did one dash which has that noise symbol on it, I have to roll 1 white die this time. Right, so it's not an exclamation mark, so none of the other guards heard me. So on to the next guard order card, since I've had all 4 of my actions. This is radio in. Now you can see it says guard count 3 here. There are only 2 guards in there, so because of that, I have to spawn as many guards as there are to bring it up to the guard count of this particular room, which in this case is 3. Whenever it comes to knocked out or killed guards, those don't count towards towards the guard count. So that's why I still have to spawn that in, even though there's that there. This doesn't apply because there are no security cameras. My alert's still not on there, and none of those apply. So it's just regular patrols where guards move forward and prioritise turning left. But again, following this guard priority token, this one goes first. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, since I've landed on this, and there's a choice between turning right or left, this arrow is telling me that this guard needs to turn left. This is the next guard to activate. 1, 2. There isn't those curly arrows this time, but there is a choice between turning right or left. Because this says to turn left, that's exactly what he does. 3. Again, he turns left because there's a choice of turning right or left, and the card says to go left. 4. So he's moved. This is the only one who hasn't moved. So 1, there's a wall in front of him, and because there's no other option but to turn right, that's actually why he turns right on this occasion, because there's no way of turning left. 2, 3, 4. Now here's the thing. This is finding a new path. Even though he's landed on this and this arrow says to turn left, turning left from having facing a wall and would be eventually facing back this way, it turns out that's incorrect. It actually turns this way because that's the only new path to him, because there isn't a chance of going left because there's a red line there. So that's why it turned right, as that's the only deviation from there, which is notated as finding a new path, and that is the only new path, because any other thing would keep him on the same path, just in the opposite direction. But anyway, none of the guards saw me. They haven't got line of sight to me. This wall's in the way. The way line of sight works is that you think of an imaginary box around a player character and the guard in question, and if there are any obstacles anywhere within that box, then there is no line of sight. Had I been anywhere on here, they would have had an uninterrupted line of sight towards me, and I would have had my alert token placed underneath me. But because I'm down in this corridor just out of sight, this guard here doesn't see me. But anyway, it's back to Snake's third round. Now I really want to get this dead body out of the corridors to make it less likely for a guard to come across it. So I'm going to do one action to do a drag body. So what happens here, I pick up a knocked out or dead token in my or an adjacent space, which it was adjacent to me, then move 1 space and place it into an empty adjacent square. And now I'm going to do a dash and sneak. Now, drag body is also a noisy action, so that coupled with the dash I did means I've got to roll 2 white dice to do a noise check. Right, no exclamation marks, so nobody heard me. And luckily that dead body is now tucked away in this room, making it a lot less likely for a guard to stumble across it compared to if it had been left there. So, guard order card. This would have applied if there were 3 dead bodies, but which would have meant I would have just revealed the uppermost guard order card and placed it to the bottom of the pack. But because there's only 1 dead body, that doesn't apply. Again, that doesn't apply because there are no cameras on this mission. No alert and none of this applies, so just 4 on the left again. So this time this one goes first, and this one's also going to demonstrate leapfrogging. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now when you leapfrog over a guard, that and the destination square counts as one space. That's why he ended up here and not here. And again, because he's landed on this and can't turn left because there's a wall there, so the only new path is to turn right. So it's this one next because that guard there was there originally. 1, 2, turns left here because there's a choice of right or left and it says left here. 3, 4. And last but not least, this guard. 1, 2, 3, 4. Doesn't turn because he's got space in front of him and didn't land on a curly arrow. So that's that guard order card dealt with. Now I take off my action tokens and start the next round. Now I've got to be careful. I'm worried about this guard. If he turns to the right, then he's very likely to see me. So what I think I'm instead going to do is go behind him. No, I'm actually going to do 4 sneaks and 1, 2, 3, duck in this room just until he's out of the way, until I know what he's doing. Because my worry is I'll go towards that A to call the lift, and his next order might get him to turn right, which will mean I'll get seen. And that's quite a risk. So I've had my 4 actions, so guard order. This would have applied had there been fewer than 3 guards, but because the guard count for this area is 3 and there are 3 guards active, that doesn't apply. This doesn't apply because there are no security cameras. My alert token is still not on the board, and there are no dead bodies, nor knocked out ones in line of sight of a guard. Nor is my attention token on the board, so it's just regular patrol. And as you can see, it's a good job that I didn't go for the A on that previous turn, because he would have seen me. But this guard goes first, so because of the guard priority token, zigzag. This one's first in the zigzag. 1, 2, 3. Again, leapfrogging over that, so ignore that, and this becomes the 3rd space. And turning left because there's no other option. It's not possible for him to turn right because there's a wall there. This one next. 1, 2, could turn left or right, so the card says right, so he turns right. 3, and just this one now because that one's already moved. 1, 2, 3. Now, because he's reached a dead end, this time he does turn, and he had to turn 180 degrees rather than 90 degrees because when he was originally facing that way at the end of his movement, turning right had him facing a red line, which so he has to keep turning until he's not facing one. So that's what happened there. And now it's on to Snake's next turn. So playing it safe again. 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I just did 4 sneaks. guard order card. That doesn't apply because, as I said, there has to be at least 3 dead bodies on them in the area, and there isn't. There's only 1. No, that doesn't apply. Alert tokens. My alert token's still not on the board, and none of this applies. So it's just regular patrol. This guy goes first because of the priority token, indicating that this is the one that's uppermost and leftmost. 3, 1, 2. Turns right because he can't turn left. There's no other option. This one next. 1, 2, 3. This one he does turn left. Although there's a guard there, that's potentially a place where he could have gone but because the card says to turn left, whenever there's a choice of left or right when landing on one of these, left takes priority. This one's very easy. 1, 2, 3. Again, landed on one of those. So this time the turning left would have happened anyway. So that's my turn over. So my action tokens come off my dashboard. Dash. And sorry, sneak. Sneak now landed on this A, so I remove event according to the mission brief in the Shadow Moses campaign book for this mission. I remove the token A and place the lift on this lift shaft with the guard in the position shown. So I've now got a 4th guard to contend with. So literally all I'm trying to do is get in that lift and interact with it. So I'm just going to do another sneak and another sneak. And that's all my actions done. Guard order card. There are no knocked out bodies, so that bit doesn't apply. No cameras, so that doesn't apply. My alert token's still not on the board, so Snake's so far been doing well with the stealth aspect. So it's 5 and prioritising left if there's a choice between left or right. And this is this is the first one to go now because of this zigzag, meaning that this is the first one in the order. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 landed on one of those, and there's a left and right choice. So card says left, so left is where he goes. This one next. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This time he has to turn right because there's no option of left because there's a wall in the way, and this is the only new path. Remember I said that the manual called it finding a new path, so that is the only new path. This one next. 1, 2, leapfrog, 3, 4, 5. Again, there's a choice of left or right. The card says left, so turns to face to the left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Has to turn right because there's literally no other option. So my turn again. So I'm just going to do sneak, 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 sneak. Playing it safe, trying not to make any noise. I don't need to roll any white dice because sneaks are not noisy. I didn't do any noisy actions, so that's why I didn't roll any white dice. But I have used all 4 of my action tokens, so next guard order card. Again, no knocked out bodies, no security cameras. My alert token's not on the board. And nor is my attention token, nor are guards in any line of sight of that dead body, nor are there any knocked out guards to worry about. So it's regular patrol, and it's 4 and a right. This one's the first in the pecking order this time. 1, 2, leapfrog, 3, 4. This one next, 1, 2, 3. It turns right here because there's a choice of left or right, and the card says 4 is facing a wall, and this is the only way you can turn, so that's the only new path. 1, 2, 3, could turn left or right. Card says right, so finishes there. Oh dear, this is the last one to move, and oh no. 1, 2, 3, 4. For some reason I thought that he was going to land on that and turn right, which would have meant he would have seen me. Luckily it was a 4. Had that been a 3 and a right, that would have been a very different story. So that's my turn over. So now I just sneak to next to that button with the interact symbol on it, and then I select the interact option. Normally you'd be rolling dice for an interact, but there's no need because the mission objective says you literally just have to select interact as your option when you're on that square. So the lift has gone somewhere, taking Snake with it. Snake was not at any point seen nor heard, so that mission was a success. And I didn't run out of time either. So that is a playthrough of the very first mission of the Shadow Moses campaign in Metal Gear Solid, the board game, just to give you an indication of how it all works. And I was very lucky that at no point did a guard ever see nor hear me. I'm not always that lucky. I mean, whenever I did a noise check, just one of these exclamation marks would have meant that my attention token would have gone underneath me, and the nearest guard would have ignored his usual patrol routes and walked the blue number of spaces into the most direct path with the fewest turns towards it. And had I been seen, I would have had that underneath me, and every guard in the area would have been coming for me. Plus, any guard that ever caught line of sight of me would open fire and potentially cause Snake to suffer some physical damage. And as I said earlier, 4 health points of damage done to Snake, or indeed any of the other 3 characters that can be controlled in the game, will kill them. And the death of even just one character usually means mission fail. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video and enjoyed this playthrough of the very first mission of the Shadow Moses campaign. I mean, I know that one doesn't contain any focus tokens, but it goes through the bare bones and the basics of how it all works. Hope to catch you on another video soon. Texie88 out.